What is going on, guys? I got a limit of trout to clean today, and I'm going to show you the quickest, fastest, easiest method to clean a trout that you've ever seen. I just learned this recently, and I can't believe I didn't know it sooner. Stick around at the end of this video. I'm also going to give you some tips on how to carry fish properly on the river, how to keep them cool, how to use a stringer, how to use a creel, and a few tips on just transporting trout. So I'll get these babies cleaned up, and then I'll give you a few more tips. All right, guys, with any fish, I like to bleed them out and definitely keep them cool. So this fish has been kept cool, bled out, and it's ready to field dress. So all I'm gonna do is use my scissors, which a lot of trout fishermen have on them, and I'm just gonna insert into the vent and cut up towards the head. You don't have to cut into the guts, but you wanna stop right between the two front fins here, these pectoral fins. You don't wanna go any further than that. Then you're simply gonna turn the fish over, and you see the throat latch right here. You're going to kind of push your finger into the mouth to get those gills exposed, and you're simply going to cut that throat latch right there. That's all you got to do. So now you can see I have it opened up and the throat latch is open right there. So now all I have to do is grab the fish right in that hole I made at the throat latch. I'm going to put my other finger up under the head right here, and I'm simply going to give it a good pull down, and you see it takes those front fins right off, and all the guts come right out with it, just like that. Okay, one pull. It's a one pull method. Now, the reason that I keep this bag with me is it is illegal to throw the guts into the river, but I really like to do this at the river so I can just make it super clean, and I can rinse the fish, and it just makes it super easy. So I just kind of tuck that on my side so the guts don't go flowing down the river. Now that fish is completely cleaned out. However, there's one little part left we got to do, and that is to squeeze out the bloodline. So I just push down, and you can see on the back there, there's that blood. I just push down, squeeze, and that bloodline comes right out. Dip that baby into the water, give it a good rinse, and that fish is good to go back on ice. Now you can either fry this whole just like this, or you can fillet it when you get home. Either way works. All right, guys, let's do it again. Only we'll do it a little bit faster this time so you can see how fast this really works. Into the vent, cut straight up, right up the middle of the fish. Stop right in between the two pectoral fins there. Slide your finger into the mouth, just snip that throat latch right there. Then you can kind of tuck your scissors away. Now we're just going to put one finger in that throat latch incision, one at the head, give it a good pull apart, and then continue on down. All the guts come right out, just like that. Takes those front fins. I'm going to put those guts in my bag again there, and takes those front fins off, takes the gills, takes the tongue, takes everything out. And then of course we want to do our mud line. Just a simple push of the thumb, whoop, and it's clean. Rinse and done. If this video is giving you value, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. I got a lot more videos like this one and plenty more coming up. So let's get into a few tips on how to actually carry fish on the river. My favorite method is definitely a creel. A creel is designed for carrying trout on a river, and its primary purpose is actually to keep the fish cool just by evaporation. So if you dip this creel in the water and let that water evaporate, evaporation cools, and that's kind of what the initial invention was to keep those trout cool by evaporation. Now I add another layer to my creel. I actually put a frozen Gatorade bottle in with my fish, and that really keeps them cold throughout the day. And I fill that Gatorade bottle with salt water. Salt water is an awesome way to keep your ice even colder, lowers the freeze point of that water and keeps it nice and chilly. All right, guys, so that's tip number one. Bring a creel with you to carry your fish. It's the best way to do it on the trout stream. And make sure you throw some ice in there to keep them cool. Now, tip number two is to bleed your fish out before you put them in the creel. A bled fish is going to taste better, it's going to keep longer, and it's just a better way to keep your fish fresh. Also, I don't want to put a live fish in my creel and let them flop around. I want to dispatch them right away. So my method is basically give them a sharp wrap on the head with a heavy set of pliers that I carry with me. Those pliers serve as double duty for unhooking, but they're nice and stout. That's all you need, just a good wrap. And then I'm simply going to take those same scissors I always have with me and cut between the gill plate and the throat latch, and just make a slice on each side. And that's going to basically bleed the fish out. Now, typically I'm going to bring a stringer, like a rope stringer or a chain stringer, and let that fish bleed out in the water. I'd rather have them bleed out in the water. They bleed out better and they don't make a mess of your creel that way. So let them hang behind you as you fish for a little while, or simply tie them to a branch or something while you fish that hole out and let them bleed out in the water. Then put them in your creel, and that's going to give you the best tasting, freshest fish that you can get. All right, tip number 3 is bring a cooler with you if you plan on fishing all day. Leave it in the truck. When you get these fish back to the truck, take them out of the creel, put them in the cooler, get them on ice, and that way you can go from spot to spot and leave those trout back at the truck. You know, sometimes you're fishing multiple streams with different bag limits on them, and you may want to keep those fish in the truck anyway. That's a great third tip, is to keep a cooler with you, just a small one. Keep some ice in there and keep those fish nice and cold. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time. Get hooked up.